Hey guys, this is Sam I am with my today's take on the sports, and now I'm not a professional analyst, but I will try my best. And with this being the week of the Super Bowl, and I already gave my Super Bowl predictions, I'm just gonna be moving on to news in the NBA and NFL. First off, in the NBA, we had a big time trade go down with Blake Griffin being traded to the Pistons. Now, a lot of people did not see this coming, considering the Clippers are in the playoff hunt right now in the West, but they weren't gonna look to be a contender, so you could see that the move. But they were most likely going to trade Lou Williams or DeAndre Jordan, who are still in the trading block, but Blake Griffin did not seem like he was a potential trade asset, but he was traded. He was traded to the Detroit Pistons for Tobias Harris, Avery Bradley, and Boban Marjanovic in a first-round pick for Blake Griffin, Willie Reed, and Bryce Johnson. Now, I see both teams really came out with what they wanted in this trade. The Clippers got a lot of good young players and a good first-round pick to use, while the Pistons obviously got a superstar in Blake Griffin, Willie Reed, who's a good backup center, and then Bryce Johnson, who's still a developing young player. So overall, the Clippers are in a good position right now to rebuild finally after years and years of trying to do the combo of Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan. So now they're in a good situation that frees up a lot of money for them. If they can trade away DeAndre, that will be big too. Clear up a lot of more money, get some more picks, rebuild through the draft. Now the Pistons, on the other hand, now they're just a piece away from being a pretty big contender in the East. Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond are going to be an amazing duo in the front court. Their backcourt still needs some work, but it's going to get there. And in the NFL, we also had another big trade go down. Alex Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs was traded to the Washington Redskins. Now, Alex Smith is a very old quarterback, and he's a mediocre quarterback at best because of his inability to win in the playoffs. He has been to the playoffs multiple times, but it's not produced, and that's why I see the Chiefs trading him, and that they had Patrick Mahomes sitting on the bench, who they had drafted last year, who they saw had a lot of potential. Now they traded him to the Redskins, who had Kirk Cousins, he's younger than Alex Smith, but he looks like another Alex Smith in the making. They did not trade Kirk Cousins to the Chiefs. They still have Kirk Cousins on the roster, but they're expected to release him now because if they had not traded for Alex Smith, they would have most likely franchise tag Kirk Cousins for the third time, which franchise tag means to give a player like a 1-year deal just over and over again because you technically own his rights. It's a big thing. But this franchise tag, since it was third time, would have been for $34 million for 1 year. That's outrageous to pay a player $34 million a year. So Kirk Cousins will most likely be released. And now Kirk Cousins, I could see him going to either Arizona, Denver, or the New York Jets. I think the Jets, because obviously they're in need for a quarterback, and they're a young team on the rise. For a team, they weren't projected to win any game this year, and I'm pretty sure they went 6-10. That is very impressive for the roster they have. They got a lot of potential. Denver, we know what Denver can do. That defense is unreal, and they're a QB away from being a contender again. Now, if they can get the running game sorted out too with C.J. Anderson and keep some of their receivers, because they're losing a lot of them due to contracts this year, I feel like they would be a great spot for Kirk Cousins. And then you also have Arizona, who is getting David Johnson back, who's probably a top 2 running back in the league. Larry Fitzgerald back, who's a top 5 wide receiver of all time. And then a defense that is just a couple pieces away from being just as good as Denver's defense. So Arizona would be my choice if I'm Kirk Cousins, because I feel like you give that 2 years, they'll be definitely one of the best teams. So overall, I think both trades went down pretty good for each team. And I will see you guys next week with the Super Bowl results and what happened. Bye.